Hello, everybody. It is now Friday. It is RPGaDay 2020, and we're going to do another discussion on this long list of 31 things that is from Autocritic, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's on the screen and all that jazz like I do every time. The first Weird Intelligence mod, and I'm Clint.
And I'm Theo.
And today's little prompt here today was couple, and so we thought instead of going in the super obvious direction, which was to talk about like gaming with a couple, or gaming as a couple, or gaming with your significant other, because that's we've even discussed that before. Um, I think it's either on our list of things to do as a GM Insight video,
I think we already
or
did
we've
it
done
as a
it in a
GM Insight.
or we've done it in a different series of RPG a day. So we're gonna do this one as what what pairings go well and perfect in RPGs. Like what peanut butter and jelly combination must you have? If you have this in an RPG, you must have this. Like they work too well together. And that
Good
would be
example. Yeah. Good example being Dungeons and Dragons.
true. You can't have one without the other. We're talking really wide. It could be a specific class with subclass, or piece of item with thing, or it could be like straight up
Race, class.
this is the best food type of deal. Whatever. Like I want my physical books with my whatevers, but I introduced the topic, so I don't have to answer the question first. I can sit here and think.
Yep. Oh, you're welcome. So we got, excuse me. So for me, I think I'm going to do two. I'm going to do two classes that work really well together. Okay, I'm going to do three. Two classes that you pretty much have to have in any group together to, be functional. A class and a subclass. I'm going to go with Barbarian because I play a lot of Barbarians and I like them. And then I'm going to do Race in class because I'll go Barbarian again because that's just me. I'm the boring white bread of this discussion here. So for two classes, the obvious ones are Rogue and Cleric because you need a healer. But
Hmm.
my other D&D group, our cleric's a light cleric, and so
We
everything
finally
just gets set
got
on
a light
fire.
cleric, so
Well, no, we have a life cleric now,
oh,
just
that's right,
joining
a
the game,
life cleric.
joining the game tonight. Not not a light everything on fire cleric. So it'll be really fun.
Well, that's even a fifth edition thing now. You don't need a cleric.
Yeah, no,
There's
that's what I'm
enough
saying. Like
classes that have self healing.
the obvious one is rogue and cleric. That's always been that's been the things forever. You need a rogue, you need a cleric, rogue to go through all the traps and stuff, cleric to keep the party ass alive.
Yeah,
Fifth edition went,
disable and
here
use
are
magic
ways.
device.
Yeah, clerics. Fifth edition went, here are ways to heal so that people don't have to be stuck playing the cleric unless they want to.
The fighter
So
can
my
heal even.
so my new comparison is Bard. You can thank Jonathan for that.
Mm.
Christine, so a Bard and some form of damage dealer. That's quantities of damage, not just defensive. I can plink a bit, but like someone who just outright goes out there can stay alive. So barbarian, and you all thought I wasn't going to do that. I know bard and barbarian combined is actually really kind of terrifying because in Clint's game I play a barbarian. I play a totem barbarian. I'm literally immune to all damage. I get resistance to all damage, but psychic damage if I rage, which I think has caused him to like grit his teeth so many times.
It's gritted my teeth in a few of the encounters because in the early parts, it's you're traveling, so you have a daily encounter. So I could get you down to almost nothing. You'd sleep and you'd be back to full. Like every single encounter, you guys are at full spell slots, full this. So you guys would go hog and blow slots and abilities because you knew after this fight you're
Yep.
going to bed. So that was a little frustrating, and that's more like on the side of like the writing of the game, because there's a lot of chapters that are like this. It is a daily
Oh,
encounter
I
game.
know. It's a lot harder to like make a barbarian do stuff. But the way to actually pull it off for a barbarian, here's how you could actually kill my character. He's how you pull it off. Don't damage me for one round. If I can't attack and I don't get damaged, my rage goes away and I've lost a rage slot.
Mm.
So if you set me up where I have to like move around but I can't get to somebody, my rage will drop. It's
Well,
pretty.
I've used it a
That's
couple
one reason why I
times.
don't carry any ranged weapons, is so that to give you that chance.
Well, I know
Which
it's
is
also.
it's actually come close a couple times,
I've almost knocked you straight down just purely out of damage because I will just send a bunch of crap after you.
which is
I
also a
usually
way to
try
do
I
it too.
usually try to run the monsters fairly. If I wanted to be unfair and do it the proper way, like as the GM with all my meta knowledge, I would instantly knock out Alice, take out Jonathan the Bard, then I'd worry
Well, you
about.
did.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about this is what I would first do. I'd just bum rush everybody at one character, full knock them out, move on. Because we all know the amount of damage output that Alice's sorceress actually was able to put out was ridiculous. She was like a godsend, and then when she was missing for those little bit because she slept through part of the game, Jonathan's character died. So
That was the best phone conversations ever created for any type of game.
yeah, it's trying to
And
get
then
everybody.
another fun pairing for class subclass. I like Barbarian with Path of the Zealot. Actually, that's my favorite. Not Totem. Totem is cool. Getting all those like extra, as I'm like pointing to my wall, and you can't even see my hand.
Hmm.
Getting all those extra resistances is pretty cool. With Path of the Zealot, I get resurrected for free. So if you have a cleric who has like reincarnation or whatever, it's free. It doesn't cost them anything. They just keep bringing me back up, and it's pretty awesome. Plus, my first attack, I deal like 3 times the damage because I get like all these extra dice attached to it. And then race class, there's a couple. Like human variant with barbarians, awesome because you can get great weapon fighter right off the bat, which is good,
For those of
really
you
good.
that don't know, the human variant just gives you an extra feat at first level in fifth edition.
You lose, so in fifth edition, humans get +1 to all their stats, and that's pretty much like their big thing, like +1 stat. The human variant is get a skill proficiency, get a feat, and only +1 to 2 stats, not all your stats. So
Mm-hmm.
you give up some extra bonuses to gain a feat, which is huge, and an extra skill proficiency, which is also pretty huge actually. You can go outside the box for that one.
Yeah, then you don't have to waste your like +2 up at level 4 to get a feat. So yeah, it's
The
it's
other
great.
races, Dragonborn, Mountain Dwarf, and half orc all make great barbarians too. Primarily because those are like the strength ones, but just they're what they have as abilities just lock very well with it. So a mountain dwarf barbarian gives you, okay, not a lot, but a good strength, good con. Their skills and perks they actually have are kind of like, okay, they're useful. Half orcs, same thing. Dragonborn, you can get a breath weapon, which is just awesome to like kind of.
Which would the breath weapon will be good with anything that's a close range melee fighter.
But especially with a barbarian, with rage, as I explained with rage, you lose it if you don't do any damage. It gives you a ranged weapon without having to have a ranged weapon. Especially if you're doing these daily like encounters where you're back at the next time and everything. It's the, oh, things are too far away. Nope, that thing's within 15 feet. Bleh. I dealt some damage. I don't lose rage. Murder pile next time. So how about you? What are some RPG couples you?
So to go, I'm going to go back. I'm going to change edition, and I'm going to go backwards in time. I'm going to go to Pathfinder First Edition, and an incredible pairing is the Scald with a Barbarian,
Oh yeah,
because
oh yeah,
it's
that was fun.
it is stupid, it's overpowered, and it's a bit showing off of when an RPG gets a tad bit of bloat. So a Scald is a Norse thing where it's someone who basically sings and gives everybody the ability to have a little teeny, kind of their own
Okay,
version of rage.
to explain what the Scald was part of, it was part of a group of classes that in 3.5 D&D there
It
was
was
something called
advanced.
the Gestalt.
Oh, true. In 3.5, they've
There was the
considered
there was
Gestalt.
there was the Gestalt.
Oh,
Gestalt
my
was you
Pathfinder
took
books
two
are
classes,
cracking.
took the best things, slammed them together. Pathfinder went, you can't do that. Then they went, here's a book. Here's a book of 10 classes that we've taken two base classes and put them together to create this new thing. A Scald was literally a bard barbarian, but the only singing thing that it did was that it did rage effects, because barbarians gained rage effects in Pathfinder versus I rage, I do more damage. It was I rage, and then you can take a bunch of rage feats to make your rage like kind of really coolly tailored to like what you thought of what
It did the
happens when
base.
you go
It
crazy.
does the basic like you do damage, but Pathfinder would also stack like extra crap on it. The
Yeah.
Skull does the same thing. They have their own rage giving abilities that they would stack on theirs, and so everybody has the choice of accepting it. So they can accept the rage if they want to, and it's like a Spire Inspiration. It lasts a certain number of rounds. The stupid thing is for the barbarian, it made them enact their own version of rage, and it didn't cost them a rage per day. So if I sang, they got to just rage for free. So that's a ridiculous combination. I played in like a Viking-esque campaign that sadly died. It was actually pretty fun, but I played a Scald, and a buddy Matt was playing a barbarian, and when we found that out, we just started laughing because like, oh yeah, this is gonna be stupid. You tell me if you need me to sing or you need to save a slot, and I'll do that. And I had an X number of
Well,
rogues per
the
day.
other thing was they had to share the rage. So if you had players who didn't talk to each other in doing it, and two people did that, it got interesting because the barbarian would still not use that rage slot, but he wouldn't get the full ability. He would just have the Skull's ability. But if they shared a rage power and the Skull activated it, then the barbarian got the full amount.
No, I believe that barbarian rages as normal. I think they don't get all of their feats, but they get to they. It's like they have a slightly dampened down version of theirs and get to stack my things on top of it. It literally I think in there even says
They got the Scald version. That's what, if they didn't share, all they got was the Scald version. It was the one class I actively like wanted to look up, but honestly, it's a rules thing. Who cares? Pathfinder First Edition is dead and gone pretty much. Second Edition is its new thing.
well, I'm talking about whatever I want, you know,
Yeah. Well, no, I meant just for the rules conversation. It's like okay, whatever.
because
Because I know you're looking it up right now.
I know I am looking it up because I swear it was
But yeah,
it might have been something weird, like maybe Matt took something, but I swear he got to do a bunch of weird crap. It was really, really stupid.
no, there were ways to make barbarians really dumb with that, but they had to share. Like your Skull had to give up rage the feats to take rage feats to match the barbarian to actually make the barbarian super bloody scary, and then make everyone else super scary too. Mm-hmm.
Well, another one. Look, I'm accidentally clicking on stuff. Um, Another pairing. Oh, I mean, you can go really basic and go like anything that has an intelligence modifier with wizard, but normally that's such a min maxer thing. You grab the race that has or whatever they call it and whatever thing. You grab whatever that is that has the bonus to what you want to be and do that. But I want to move away from fantasy. I think anything that a good pairing would be any cyberpunk. You have to have someone that does hacking. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole point. That's the whole point of playing cyberpunk to me. Why would you even play that freaking setting if you're not going to have a hacker in the group or you're not going to be the hacker? Because that's the most fun crap. Because it makes things a lot more interesting than the standard shoot crap and do other things, which isn't everybody's bag. Some people love the combat of things, but some people want to do other stuff. Why is my webcam wigging out? Stop wigging out. There. It's like it wants to like white balance.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing. Because yeah, doing the cyberpunk stuff is really fun, but you gotta have a hacker.
It's pretty fun.
I'm gonna go really, really generic and jokey and say that the one thing that goes with RPGs is caffeine of some kind, be it coffee or energy drink or soda of some kind, which there's an empty can sitting here as well.
The one thing you need in every RPG, some form of I need to stay the fuck awake.
Yeah, basically, because most of the time we're all doing this crap after work and all that.
D&D games brought to you by Mountain Dew.
I don't think there's really any other major things other than like, getting together and getting food. I feel like to me now that we've been playing for a while and the way we do now is like getting together and actually having dinner as well, not just bring whatever you want and
Pretty
just
fun.
whenever it's like let's actually go and get food brought here and we'll pay for pizza and have it sent over or whatever. But I think
Yeah,
that's
doing something together as a group, like food wise, because it's just a great bonding experience. It's pretty good.
it makes it cheaper on the host as well. Usually, if everyone brings something over and we can potluck it.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's really the only major pairings and whatnot that I can truly think of. Oh, I think any good horror game should have Cthulhu of some kind in it. I haven't played it. I
Well,
haven't. I haven't.
not
Okay, I haven't played a horror game that wasn't truly inspired by Lovecraft. It just general. I'll go more general, not Cthulhu specifically, but like Lovecraftian horror. Never played in a horror game without it.
yeah, you
Is
you you it's like if it's a good gothic horror one. This is why I've actually been debating picking up the Gothic Earth, the Mosque of the Red Death setting for 5th edition. It's Ravenloft rules. It was the Ravenloft rules. It was their 2nd edition Gothic Earth campaign. So the Dark Powers got to Earth in the 1890s and then created their own version, and all the Gothic horror stuff became real.
hmm,
So you actually had Dracula, Frankenstein's monster. All of these things were the bad guys. Van Helsing is the leader of your group of people trying to stop to save people and everything like that. It was really interesting. But yeah, no, some honestly a good horror game needs build up. It needs good build up and then not just monster of the week like every time.
yeah, horror. I oh
Horror is
here's
hard.
I think oh here's a good pairing. Then again, I feel horror and it's the peanut butter to the jelly that is one shot. Because if it's a one shot, you know in your heart of hearts, there's a very good chance that if your character dies, it doesn't matter. Because I don't know about you as a GM, but most of the time I try to keep my players alive. Because if everybody dies, it makes it really freaking difficult to continue the story in my own head. Like, why
Yeah,
would 5 extra people suddenly start doing crap? Like, it makes it harder, especially if you keep killing random people. Then eventually it's like, okay, you keep replacing the parts in a car one at a time, eventually you just have a new car. When is it that you have like a new group? Like
yeah.
one
Now
of you were the
the
instigators.
the other thing with horror for a good pairing would be mood. So playing like you normally do D&D, lights are on, table, everything's set up good like that. You're not in the mood for a horror game. You're here to game, have fun, laugh it up with your buddies. Now you say walk into where you normally say you have D&D, like say you came to my house and it was like, and instead of it being in the main like living room area, there was a sign that said please go into the room to the left. And you walk in there and there's like candles set up, and you just hear a voice say, "Oh, your name over here, please," and then like a light to where you're supposed to sit. And room is dark except for the candles, and then there's like some like piano music going on like softly in the background. Everyone shows up, and you can only see your stuff, and then you see like a little candelabra in front of the DM screen for like where the DM's at, so you at least know where he's at. Like all of a sudden, now you're in the mood. Now you're in the mood for some good old horror for a horror game.
Yeah, that happened to Jonathan's when he ran a one shot for Trail of Cthulhu. We were it was we were all fancy British folk, so he said bring favorite tea. So we had tea, and those of us that played characters that were of the servant class had to go and make us our tea, which was very funny because Hallie, Jonathan's fiance, was one of the servant class when I was a professor. So my tea was made for me. She didn't appreciate that at all. And because I'm a proper gentleman, I smoked from a tobacco pipe and all that jazz too. So I did
So
that
like
actually at the
yeah, it's
table.
it's mood is kind of like a good thing, and I think we could probably talk about that in one of the later days too.
I feel like we've gone really long this time.
Oh, actually, there we go. Day 23.
But yeah, I'll cut this one because that's right. I'm the one who introduced it.
Yep.
I think that's really it. Other for pairings, I wanted to go further than just the class and subclass one because that's so subjective. Because some people like different stuff. But yeah, then remember to like, comment your own uh, pairings for games if you think you have any, or if you think we've missed some, or subscribe, ring the bell, look at our other videos, make your own video series if you want to, and all that jazz. But until then, we will see you on Friday or payday.
Woohoo!
Yeah, unless it is actually Friday today. Is it Friday? What day is
Yeah,
it today?
this one's Friday. That's why I said tonight for game.
Oh, that's true. That's right. We are gaming today. I forgot. All right. Bye.